believe me, I will take care of the people in this country far better than any of the folks that you're looking at right now. That I can tell you.
Donald Trump says the Democratic debate tomorrow night won't be nearly as entertaining as if he were there. Then again, the Donald is already in full trolling mode because he knows his name will be bandied about plenty in Las Vegas, featuring what Republicans would say features an alleged socialist, an alleged liar, and a very apparent empty chair. Clint Eastwood will not be there to do the introductions this time. Let us dig deep into what will happen in Vegas and not stay there by any means. He is senior political analyst for the Washington Examiner and co-author of the Almanac of American Politics, Michael Barone, joined by the former Deputy Staff Secretary to President Bill Clinton and veteran Democratic strategist David Goodfriend. Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for joining us. Michael, let me go ahead and begin with you because let's face it, we all want to see Hillary and Bernie get into a smackdown here, but it's probably not going to happen, will it?
Well, I think we're going to see Bernie Sanders attack Hillary Clinton for example, coming out in blatant contradiction to her previous positions against the Trans-Pacific Partnership and suggesting, as he has some reason to do, that that's inconsistent with her prior stance and indicates untrustworthiness. Something I think we'll see that. We may see something from the other candidates there, too. I mean, you've got Martin O'Malley.
Wait a minute. Hang on one second here. Other candidates? My goodness, you mean there are actually other people on the stage, Michael? Stunner. Well, I don't think the rest of America would know.
They're not getting percentages in the Democratic primary, which would have qualified them if they were Republicans to participate in the primetime Republican debates. But Martin O'Malley's a former governor from Maryland. Jim Webb is a former Navy secretary and U.S. senator from Virginia. Lincoln Chafee is a former senator from and governor of Rhode Island, as a Republican, at least in his Senate career. But they've got a motive to go after Hillary Clinton as well, which is to get in the spotlight and try to do a Carly Fiorina for themselves.
There's a good point. David, let me come to you next, because a couple of things here. First of all, do you think Bernie Sanders, he says he won't really go on the attack, but do you expect him to attack Hillary Clinton? And then the second part is there a Carly Fiorina sitting here amongst those on the stage?
Well, I think Senator Sanders said it best himself when he said that the news media wants to turn the United States into a nation of morons because they only focus on the soap opera aspects of politics and not the serious policy. And I think he'll live by his own mantra there and try to bring a degree of seriousness to the policy aspects of the debate. I will tell you this, you should expect to hear a lot of discussion about where the country was the last time a Republican was in office. You will hear all the candidates talk about 750,000 jobs lost every month. You'll hear about the economic crash and how we now know that there was a lot of it due to people asleep at the switch in regulatory agencies, people losing their homes. They're basically going to pull a Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan famously asked, "Are you better off today than you were," in his case he said 4 years ago. And here you'll hear Democrats say, "Are you better off today than you were the last time a Republican was leaving the White House?" And of course, a lot of people would answer, "Yeah, I'm better off today. Over 5 years of job growth, and we've got a lot going right in the economy, still a lot to do." But that comparison is going to be drawn out by every single candidate up there. Then you'll start to hear them differentiate themselves, try to differentiate themselves.
Okay, but then which one, though, in your opinion, if there is one, becomes the Carly Fiorina here?
Well, I tell you who needs to do it or he's dead, and that is Martin O'Malley. Martin O'Malley needs to have a breakout night or his campaign is DOA. And the reason for that is because he's been saying all along, we should be having more debates. Why are we only having 6 debates? Why are there no Democratic debates while all these Republican debates? Okay, Governor, here's your shot. You're now on national TV in a debate. Are you going to make this a meaningful moment for your campaign? So the pressure, I would argue, is the most on Martin O'Malley. He's got to break out of this where it's going to be toast. He's going to be toast.
Michael, you agree?
I think Martin O'Malley certainly has a motive to try and get himself noticed here, and he's got a complaint, which plausibly legitimate complaint about the paucity of debates and scheduling them on baseball nights and weekends and so forth. I would take issue a little with David's statement that Democrats are going to say, "Are you better off than you were 8 years ago?" I mean, flogging George W. Bush was a very successful tactic in 2008. It still works somewhat in 2012. it's getting to be a little old and tired. You can go after Herbert Hoover, too, but there's a number of people it are going to be fewer than there were 4 years ago. What I find interesting here, and I'll be watching to see if I'm wrong, is that I haven't been hearing Democratic candidates saying, we've had wonderful policies in the last 8 years. We've had Obamacare. This has provided health care for millions of people. I want to extend that and strengthen it and keep it in place. We don't say, gee, we've had brilliant macroeconomic policy. And we don't hear them say, and it'll be interesting to see what the former Secretary of State says on this, we have a foreign policy that's been really successful in strengthening America's place in the world. So it sounds like, when you listen to Bernie Sanders in particular, but also even to Hillary Clinton, it sounds like the Democratic candidates, like the Republican candidates, are running against the last 8 years.
All right, you mentioned Hillary Clinton. Let me hang on one sec, David, because we're short on time, and I want to make sure I get this in here, because we mentioned Hillary Clinton. And it's interesting how the attack ad on the eve of the Democratic debate is not necessarily from a candidate, but it is a brand new political ad released by the Republican National Committee going after Hillary Clinton. I want you both to hear it and then comment. Here we go.
I did not email any classified material to anyone.
A federal government watchdog has determined there was classified information.
Did in fact contain classified information.
Total lack of accountability. It's like my problems have nothing to do with me. They have to do with the Republicans.
David, they're using Hillary Clinton's own words against her, and it would seem to be something that a lot of people are going to pay attention to.
Yeah, I would chalk this up to, it's almost like a fatal flaw of the Republican Party, because I watched it play out with Bill Clinton. There's a legitimate issue here, her use of a personal server. There's a legitimate question here. Was that good judgment? Was it legal? But once again, the Republicans seem to be overplaying their hand. I mean, just now you've got, over the weekend, an Air Force reservist, a Republican, who was fired from the Benghazi committee, being attacked by the chairman because he says this has gotten too political. You've got a would-be Speaker of the House who backs out largely because he was honest and said this was all political. It's like the Republicans can't help themselves but hit it one too many times. And what the American people always seem to do in a situation like that, and Bill Clinton knew this, and he used it to his advantage. I was there. I saw it up close. The American people always have this sense of when someone's been beaten up just a little too much and they push back and say, that's not fair. And I just wish for once, for their own good, for God's sake, the Republicans would say, hey, let's make this a bipartisan effort. Let's get the ranking member, the Democrat on this committee, to stand with me in front of the cameras and say, we're making every decision together. We're doing this together. I mean, had the Republicans done that.
I have to stop you there, David. I only have 20 seconds left for each of you, and I have to ask each of you a specific question.
Conduct of the Benghazi committee, which I think has been exemplary for not cheap shot publicity and for legitimate cooperation with the ranking minority member and the chairman. Are the Republicans overreaching on, David, you had your chance. Republicans overreaching on this? They may. We'll see. I will be interested to see if any of the other Democrats on the stage besides Hillary Clinton talk about her email decision.
Okay, I only have 10 seconds left for each of you before I go, so 10 seconds. Michael, will the absence of Joe Biden make any difference?
Well, the number I'm going to look at is how many people were watching. 23, 24 million watched the Republican debate. How many are going to watch the Democratic debate?
10 seconds to you, David.
I promise you it'll be fewer people than the Republican debate. It's just less of a circus.
David, congratulations. I knew you were going to get the word circus in there somewhere, and I knew you had to get it in at the very last minute. Michael Barone, David Goodfriend, I want to thank you both for joining us. We will all be watching, and we'll talk about it in the days to come. Thank you very much. Now, let's stop down for this promotional word. In the wake of the recent school shooting tragedy in Oregon, the president threatening to enforce new gun laws through executive power. Nothing new for the president. Many believe he is illegally exercising his power since taking office. With each action, many believe he is fundamentally transforming the foundation of the nation. Precisely what Dick Morris has predicted in his best-selling book, Power Grab. The forecast reconfirmed as the president racks up a major coup after another in his unrelenting assault on what many believe is free America. There's more to Obama's power grab as he rushes to jam through as much as he can to get away with in his final months in the Oval Office. Power Grab looks at these key targets. Be sure to get your copy of Dick Morris' best-selling book, Power Grab. Go to powergrab411.com or call 800-210-9072. Dick Morris is next, right here on The Hardline.